Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal. Arsenal 2, Man United 1 match reaction. We got our first official win of the preseason tour of the USA. Always beautiful beating these guys, always amazing beating them, beat them in London, beat them in Manchester, and beat them in California. Always amazing. So let's go through how the game was. It was a decent game. Second half, you could tell both teams are taking the foot off the pedal, but it was a good run out. You got to see most of the first team players today. This was the squad that we lined up with today. So we had Karl Hein in goal. We had Zinchenko at left back. Heaven played at centre back with Timber once again, just like in the last game. We had Ben White at right back, Jorginho starting in midfield, NWANERI starting as the number 8, Odegaard started this time round, Reece Nelson, Gabriel Jesus, and Trossard. So compared to the last game, we had the likes of Zinchenko back now for this one. We had Jorginho starting, Odegaard starting, Jesus, Trossard all starting. All of them did not start in the last game. And then on the bench, pretty much everyone, apart from Smith Rowe, it's looking very likely that he is going to join Fulham. But it was good to have Havertz, Martinelli, and also Gabriel back on the bench. We missed those guys. And I actually thought maybe they wouldn't make an appearance today, but they did actually end up playing and coming on in the second half. So in terms of the game, it was a good game. In terms of both teams missing first team players. Yes, of course, both teams are missing first team players. Obviously, us with Saka and Rice and all those guys, and they're missing Bruno Fernandes, Dallo, Shaw, Raya, all those guys missing for both teams. So it was a bit of mixed team in the first half, mixed teams in the second half. But this was our squad in the first half. I think it was well balanced. I was looking forward to seeing more from NWANERI. Once again, I'm so happy that he got another chance to start. Really happy to have the likes of Trossard back as well. Zinchenko looking likely that he's going to stay next season. So it's going to be another big season for him. Season 2, make everything correct from last season. So let's hope he does have a great season. It was great to see Heaven starting as well at centre back, although the goal that Man United scored came from him pretty much being bullied by Holland. But we're going to talk about that. But it's a good balanced squad, and Man United had the likes of Casemiro starting, the likes of Rashford, Højlund starting, and then in the second half, they brought in a few more of the big boys like Eriksen and a few others and a few youngsters as well. The likes of who came on, Anthony came on, Mount started the game. So it is a bit of a balanced squad both in the first half and the second half. Man United made all their changes at halftime. They made 10 changes at halftime. Onana was the only one who was replaced, who was not replaced. And for us, we had a balanced team. So for this match, as I said, I was looking forward to seeing NWANERI and also Gabriel Jesus, because I've said they really want Jesus to stay this season. So I want to see a lot from him during this preseason and going into next season. So the first 10 minutes of that game, you could see Ethan NWANERI shining once again. Absolutely love his performance today as well. He was really good once again. He had a shot that was saved within the first 10 minutes. Could easily have put us 1-0 up. Karl Hein again in the first half, he did make a very good save, but we went 1-0 down in the 10th minute. Unfortunately, as I said, our player was getting bullied, Heaven, by Højlund. It was, let's just say, Heaven was having a hell of a time out there. So Heaven was in hell in that fixture. So Højlund was controlling and bullying him a bit. You can tell like the energy and then the power and the physicality. Heaven was lacking it, and Højlund had it in abundance, and he put Man United 1-0 up. But I was always confident we're going to come back in this game. We were creating a few openings and chances here and there, and I know with Maguire and those guys in the team, there's always an opportunity to score a goal, and it didn't take too long. Jesus actually spun Maguire in the 24th minute, but it was almost scored. I think it was cleared off the line or something. And then literally just 2 minutes later, Ethan NWANERI involved in the goal with an assist for Gabriel Jesus. So NWANERI, those are 2 games now. He's looked very good. This time he got an assist for Gabriel Jesus. It looked kind of offside. Gabriel Jesus looked like he was offside, but it's a preseason game, so they didn't really check it. But the build-up for the goal, really good. NWANERI adding to the left side, to the left wing, and then putting in a very, very good cross for Jesus. Jesus with the tap-in. I want to see more of that from Jesus next season as well. Get in the box, look for those tap-ins, look for those, rebounds and all that. A lot of Haaland goals are scored like that. A lot of those strikers score goals like that. Watkins, Solanke, they wait in the box and they score. So Jesus already knows how to do all the other stuff, dribbling and, going to the right side, left side, getting involved in duels, winning back possession. Jesus is good at all that, but we need him to, get in the box, try and win those second balls and, just rebounds, tap-ins, and today it was a tap-in, and that is exactly the position I want to see him in. And then the rest of the first half, Man United actually had to sub off 2 players. Højlund got injured, and Euro got injured, their new signing as well. Some say Euro was just scared to come up against Jesus, and he decided to leave the pitch. But it looked like they're both injured, and it's always a mess, players getting injured in preseason. I would absolutely hate it, and I was very scared when Odegaard went down with kind of like a shoulder injury. So I think he was heading, trying to head the ball, and then he literally fell on his hand, and I was scared. Like, if there's one player who cannot get injured, it's Odegaard. Like, that is our source of creation and everything in that midfield. Odegaard is really good, but United had those 2 players injured, and then they had to make a couple of subs. Can I even remember who they brought on? I think they brought on Hannibal, the youngster, for Højlund, and then for Euro, I can't remember who came in for Euro, but they did make 2 subs with those injuries. And then the rest of the first half, we were trying to get another goal. They had a couple of opportunities as well. Karl Hein made a save, but it was a bit of, a lot of middle of the park action, nothing too much. And then at halftime, as I said, Man United made a further 10 changes or something, or further 8, 9 changes or something, because they'd already made 2 in the first half. They made a further, I think, 8 changes at halftime, and brought in all the likes of Anthony and those guys. All of them came on at halftime. And for us, we made 2 subs at halftime. We brought in Kivio and Salah Olad for Heaven and Nwaneri. And then in the 63rd minute, just to talk about the subs, Partey came on, Nichols came on, Vieira came on, Gabriel came on, Lewis Kelly as well, Zinchenko, Timber, Trossard, White, and Jorginho all went off. But just before that, Trossard also had a shot saved. Nice dribbling in the box. You can tell it's very good, Trossard. Like, I hope he has another season like he did last season. If you have Trossard having a season like he had last season, and then we have Martinelli coming back to what he was 2 seasons ago, and then you have Odegaard contributing to the goals he did 2 seasons ago as well, I think we'd be in a very, very good position. But as always, Odegaard was looking good in the middle, but it came his time as well to get subbed off. He was taken off. Nelson went off as well, Jesus, and then Martinelli, Nketiah, and Havertz came on. So that was 9. That was 10 subs. 5. No, that was 10 subs by the around the 80th minute, and then Martinelli. I was really hoping Martinelli would do something today. I actually didn't think Martinelli, Havertz, and Gabriel would all come on, but they did, and they made an impact. They actually made an impact. Martinelli, I was looking at him mostly because last season he could easily be replaced. A lot of people are saying Trossard is in our starting lineup. A lot of people are talking about Nico Williams coming in. That would mean Martinelli is on the bench. So I need to see a lot from him as well. And I still believe Martinelli is an incredible player. We have to keep him for sure. He still has a lot to develop in terms of finishing and all that. And he's still very young. I think in the next 2-3 years, he's going to be an absolute beast, just like Saka. So Martinelli is definitely part of this project for sure. And I was loving the runs he was making in behind. He was getting the ball, and he was going past their new right back. I think his name is Fish. He'll just look like a fish out of water with Martinelli going up against him. And Martinelli was looking good, and that is where the goal came from. Martinelli dribbling past Fish and shooting with his right foot to the goalkeeper's near post to make it 2-1. Fantastic, and we need Martinelli to come back strong like he was 2 seasons ago. We really need his goals. He really missed his goals last season. And pretty much the second half, most of the second half, it was not like the first half. The second half was a bit more quiet. I think players didn't want to get injured, especially after seeing Euro and Højlund getting injured in the first half, and Odegaard also dropping on his arm and almost getting injured with that as well. Players were taking it a bit slow in the second half. And my United had already made all the changes, and then our changes started coming in. We brought in like 10 different players, so it was a bit slower, but it was a great run out. Always amazing beating Man United. 2-3 players that stood out for me, I'd say NWANERI for sure. NWANERI was really, really good today once again. The way he was controlling the midfield, he's looking very confident because we've seen him playing with the other youngsters like Salah Olad, but in the preview, I did say that is actually the midfield that I went for. Actually, this entire squad, this is the squad that we went for in this game, and this is what I'd wanted to see. So the only difference is really I thought Kivio was going to start instead of Heaven, but that is absolutely fine. The rest of the squad, apart from Reece Nelson, I wanted Vieira to start, but it's absolutely fine. So those are the only 2 changes that Matsa made from my lineup. So NWANERI really stood out for me. I wanted to see him next to the likes of Odegaard and those first team players, and he was really outstanding. Like, I'd even say he's probably our best player in that first half, more than all the other guys in the team. Jesus was really good in the first half. He was giving Harry Maguire a very hard time. He was dribbling past him several times, and then he came up with the finish as well. So Jesus was quite good in the first half as well. I'd say NWANERI was a standout out, and then Jesus. And then, did anyone else really stand out from this team? I mean, Jorginho wasn't involved a lot. Zinchenko wasn't involved a lot. Defensively, the likes of Timber weren't really involved a lot. I'd say those two are the ones that really stood out. And then heading towards the latter part of the first half and the early part of the second half, Trossard started, getting involved a lot and could have scored. And, he started creating a couple of chances. He was looking good as well. But Jesus and NWANERI, I would say, are the ones who really stood out. NWANERI would be the one as the number one who really stood out. So those are the ones from the starting lineup. From the ones who came off the bench, I liked Martinelli for sure. Martinelli was getting involved, and I want to see those runs in behind. I want to see him taking on players, and I saw a lot of that. He took on a player, and lo and behold, he scored. We know Martinelli can do that. If he does that every single game, we're in a very good place. Last game, we talked about a defender who didn't really play well in Rekic in terms of giving away the ball and all that. But they don't really think anyone was really that bad at all. I don't think so. We went to penalties after the game. They scored 4 of their penalties. We scored 3 of their penalties, so they won the penalty shootout. Vieira scored his penalty. Very good penalty from Vieira. And McTominay scored theirs. And then Kai Havertz took our penalty, the second penalty. He missed it. I mean, good save from Onana. It was actually not even down on the floor. It was like heading kind of to the top corner, but Onana saved it. Almost similar to what Karl-Heinz saved the other day in terms of the second penalty. Johnny Evans stepped up for them. He scored their second penalty. Kivia stepped up for us. He scored a winning penalty against Bournemouth, but today, awful penalty, off target, not even near the goal. Awful penalty, so that was back-to-back misses. And then their youngster Whitley stepped up as well and missed it. So at that point, they were leading the shootout by 2-1. And then Martinelli stepped up for us, he scored. And then Ericsson stepped up for them, he scored. That made it 3-2. And then Gabriel stepped up for us, he scored. Gabriel, the defender. And then Sancho stepped up for them and scored to make it 4-3. So Gabriel's penalty was incredible as well. Really, really good penalty. His technique is incredible, man. He can score from headers. These days he's confident on the ball. He doesn't, get scared and he's on the ball. So another big son for Gabriel. That is why he cannot be replaced. Like even today, those 10-15 minutes he was on, he was trying those looped passes and all to Martinelli. He looked really good as well. But good run out. We drew with Bournemouth. We've beaten Man United today. Absolutely fine. Next up, we have Liverpool. We are leaving California, heading to Philadelphia. Another good game against Liverpool coming up. And then after that, we are back to the Emirates Cup, to play against Leverkusen and Lyon. So still a couple of games to see ourselves being tested. And then next game, we are now expecting more of the big boys to be back. Like in terms of Havertz, Martinelli, and Gabriel, they will be able to start next game. And on top of that, we could see the Calafiori debut finally against Liverpool. But that's how the match went. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you made of the game in case you watched it. And who stood out for you? And what are you hoping to see against Liverpool? Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you on the next one.